Hello everyone, it's Supra. I wanted to talk about optic balance. I think it's a undermined area of discussion, which is unmistakable because of all the other issues that are flying about. But that's okay. I think in Battlefield it's needed tweaking for a long time. For a lot of weapons you have 3.4 and 4 times optics that nobody will use for at least a couple of reasons. In most engagements it's easier to close the distance to your opponent to deal maximum damage, as opposed to staying stationary and trying to pick them off with the 18 damage that the damage model offers. Red dot sights are going to be the best for those scenarios, and red dot sights also have a lot less metal casing and magnification, so it's easier to track targets and theoretically notice other targets while you're aiming down sight, but I'm yet to see that in practice. I think that we've been having an issue with red dot sights since Battlefield 3. In Battlefield 3, everyone just used the Cobra when they unlocked it because it had less metal casing. So it especially annoyed me in Battlefield 4 when they exacerbated that by introducing the Coyote RDS, which has practically no metal casing, so everyone used it. Battlefield 4 went out of its way to feature expansive customization, and yet everyone uses the Coyote with automatic weapons. Admittedly, this wasn't all DICE's fault. They had to do it for the theme of having Chinese forces in the game, but it just didn't make sense for balance. I think the issue to begin with is that you can use these optics on any gun of your choice as long as you get a certain amount of kills with it. Wouldn't it make more sense to have optics remain exclusively to their respective weapons, for example, the Coyote for Chinese guns only? This way you can introduce a bit of variety in people's gun choices. Look at how much Chinese guns are used in Battlefield 4. They are pretty much the least used guns in the game. Imagine what the advantage of having a Coyote RDS on those guns would bring to the variety in people's setups. I know that you have to unlock these optics via battle packs, but that isn't the most difficult thing to do. I'm one of those people that enjoys realism, so I was happy that aim points were introduced into Hardline. Aim points, if you don't know, are the Comp M4S and Micro T1 red dot scopes. I don't think I've seen anyone outside of the Israeli Defense Force and Russia use these reflex sights that have very little casing, and I imagine that they would either be too expensive or unreliable or something like that. Aimpoint scopes actually have some metal casing, so they can prove at least a little bit of challenge. They're not perfect. The Comp M4S, when you're looking down, it looks like it has about a centimeter of length, but I guess they had to balance that out, or maybe they didn't consider it. So yeah, in the Western world, I've not seen anything outside of EOTech holographics or aimpoints or something similar for close quarters combat. Aimpoint CCOs make sense for Hardline. It's good that they've been introduced for a game that has smaller maps than a reference Battlefield, even if the previous ones didn't make a difference to the optics people chose. I think that the Battlefield series can take note of this. Except we still have Cobras in this game. There are 3 Russian weapons in this game, and this isn't the conventional America versus Russia, this is cops and robbers, so it doesn't make any sense that the Cobra is available on this game. And if you haven't already guessed it, it just means that everyone will use it because it has less metal casing than the aimpoint scopes. The reflex sight is in there as well. I would have said, oh, it has a little bit of metal casing, it might seem balanced. Fuck it. Get out. The Cobra doesn't have respective pricing either, but unfortunately cost of optics isn't the top of people's lists. It'd be alright if the Cobra was in the game if, like we said earlier, they were respective to the guns that came from the same country. It might not be totally balanced because the AKM is already quite a powerful weapon, but you can always introduce more recoil or whatever. There are other areas of balance that can help influence this, but otherwise, no one in these scenarios is going to be using a Cobra. So this video does kind of sound like I'm bashing the Cobra and red dot sights in general, even if in Battlefield it's not a dot, it's a T, but it is a dot in real life. It's just a shame really. It's nice to see some variety in Hardline, they just didn't go far enough. Regardless, there's been so much bitching flying around for the longest time that I don't think optic balance is going to be the loudest right now. This game has a considerably low player count. I've never seen empty servers on a Saturday night. When EA said that they weren't expecting Hardline to do so well, I didn't expect them to be so right about it. Well, that's all for this one. Please check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.